Hello there, my feathered friends. It's Cheeto here, coming at you with another Arknights beginner guide. Okay guys, so this is going to be part 4 of the beginner guide series. The last video we did an operator building guide, and for this video we're going to be talking about basic team composition and squad building. Now, before I get into the video, I just want to put a little disclaimer here that Arknights is a type of game that you can use whatever characters you want. A lot of people will use the phrase waifu over meta, including myself, and that definitely remains true even in endgame content. You don't have to use all meta units and a super cookie cutter squad composition. You can mix it up, but I'm just going to lay the foundation for you guys, all you new players out there, on what types of characters you should build your squads around, and that will help you in a lot of the mid, early, and late game content for when you play the game. We're going to click the squads tab now, and I'm going to show you guys my squads before we start with the guide, just to give you a few examples. This is the Grand Slam. This is my everyday use squad. Every time I first clear a stage, this is the squad I'm going to be using. The empty slots on the right are for flex spots, and the most popular units that I use are going to be Liskarm, Saria, Thorns, Spectre, Angelina, and Blaze. So those will fill those slots, and sometimes I'll use other units, but for the most part, those are my primary. And this squad, guys, this squad shows you that you can do any team composition you want. You can see that I have based a lot of this comp off of the comp I'll be showing you guys later, but there's definitely some outliers. Like, I don't have an anti-air sniper. I have 3 vanguards. I have a specialist. All that. I don't even have a defender on my primary roster. So yeah, this shows you the amount of flexibility that you guys can have when making your team composition. But there are some things about using different team comps that will make the game a bit harder. The next squad I have is the Schmick Squad. Now, this squad is empty because this is the squad I use to basically clear a stage if I can't use the Grand Slam, if I need to edit this squad at all. I like to keep this squad in this exact order, so I just basically copy and paste it to this one, but add and shift around any characters I need. V Horny this is my dragon character squad. It's all Viva's, Draco's lungs, and Lacey's a Kirin, so she's technically a dragon character. So this is my dragon squad. I'm working on building some of these units now. Hopefully we get a different character besides Vanilla, because I don't really like her that much. Next up is the Gawk Squad. Now, this squad is akin to a who to build squad or a trust farming squad. I know a lot of players will have a squad dedicated to that type of thing, so this is my equivalent. So the next character I'm building now is Nightingale. Then after that's going to be Ifrit. If I need to trust farm these characters, I'll empty this squad out and organize by the least trust, and then trust farm some of my characters. I'm going to get into trust farming in a later video. It's not super necessary for any new players out there, so it's going to be a later video for you guys. But yeah, these are my squads, guys. Hopefully it is a pretty decent example, and if you see me streaming this game, you'll see my thought process on building squads, and also how I go about it on a day-to-day. Okay, guys, so we are now in the Schmick Squad. I'm going to hit quick select, and we are going to build a basic everyday team comp together. Now, I'm going to order them with the top right and check the different classes in the filter section. There are 8 different total classes. We're going to be doing 2 of each of them, 2 operators for each class, with the exception of supporter and specialist. That's how most people would play the game, especially starting out, because it's extremely well-rounded and it'll cover a lot of different stages and enemies that you'll be facing. Now, the reason why we're excluding supporter and specialist is because these classes, even though they can be extremely strong and have very, very strong operators within them, they're also very niche. So you're going to definitely want to have at least one supporter built and then a few different specialists built, and I'll get into that later. But for everyday use stages, you do not need supporters or specialists. There is one major exception, and that is summoners. Now, summoners are characters that can place robots or summons down on the stage, and they do the work for you. Now, this type of playstyle is very difficult. You need a super wrinkly big brain to be able to work summoners very well. I'm going to get into summoners in a completely different video because I feel as though they are basically in a class of their own. So we're going to skip out on those for now. But let's get started. We're gonna start with 2 vanguards. Now, there are multiple different types of vanguards, and I am going to do a class breakdown of every single class in this game within this beginner guide series. So I'm going to be a little bit brief when I talk about the stuff here. So you want, for the most part, you want 1 DP on kill vanguard, which means they get 1 DP for every kill that they get. Some options are bagpipe, reed, granny, Vinya, and plume. I'm going to use a Vinya. And then you want 1 DP on skill vanguard, which is like siege, Zima, Texas, Fang, courier. I will bring Texas as my 5-star. Now, the last 2 vanguards fall within their own class called flag bearers, Elysium and Myrtle. If you have Elysium or Myrtle, you 100% should build them because they are absolutely game-changingly good. They're not necessary though, but they will make your life a lot easier, I promise. Let's just assume you don't have any of these characters, so I'm just going to go with Vinya and Texas. That's like the standard layout here. So we have our 2 vanguards. We're just going to go down the line, basically. I'm going to skip sniper and caster because I'll talk about them in a minute. Next, we're going to do medic. Medic, we're going to have 1 single target medic and 1 AoE medic. Now, the single target medics, the one I'm going to choose is going to be Gavielle, and the AoE is going to be Perfumer. I'm going to post the A-Ship toolbox on the in the description below, and what this will basically show you, I'll pull it up real quickly. What this will basically show you is once it loads, hit show all, and then you can browse the grid and then check. So we'll go to medic for now. We'll click on Gavielle, and it'll say right here, healing friendly unit. So this is a healer. Let's do a different option real quick. We'll go to Perfumer. Heal up to 3 allies at once. You can check to see if they're single target or AoE based on their trait. So heal a friendly unit. After healers, we have guards. Now, guards is a pretty interesting one because guards are, in my and many other people's opinion, the strongest class in the game. Based off of my team composition, the base team composition I'm giving, you could bring 1 to 3 guards. If you really liked guards, you could bring even more if you'd wanted to. But I'll just stick with 1 to 3 for now. There are tons of different guards in this game, and they all do a bunch of different things, but we're going to take 2 different guards that are very free-to-play friendly. The 2 that we are going to be taking are going to be Melantha and Midnight. So Melantha is a duelist guard. She's good for boss killing or killing a really big threat in a 1v1 because she's only 1 block, and Midnight is good because he can hit range targets, he can hit drones, he does arts damage, so he is quite strong. After guards, we have defenders. Now, defenders are also very important. I would bring 1 tank defender and 1 healing defender. That's what most people would do. So the tank defender is Quora, and the healing defender is going to be Gumi. And then lastly, we have our ranged DPS characters, the casters and the snipers. Now, casters and snipers are interesting because there are single targets, casters and snipers, and then there are AoE casters and snipers. There are obviously other subclasses besides those two for each of them, but we're going to just focus on these simple ones for now. So anti-air snipers. These are your single target snipers like Exu, Mei, Greythroat. I'll get rid of caster for now. Exu, Greythroat, Mei, Blue Poison, Platinum, Cruise. All of those are anti-air snipers. You're gonna need to bring or build at least one anti-air sniper. So we'll take Mei for now. She's a 4-star unit. She's pretty easy to get. Now for casters, we're gonna do the same thing. And I know most people have this particular character. Everyone has her. Everyone should have her. We're gonna bring Amiya as our single target caster. She does solid arts damage. Her skill 1 is very nice. So she's gonna be our primary source of arts damage. Now the other two, I do recommend that you build at least one AoE sniper and one AoE caster, because they're going to be very useful later on or in certain stages in the game. If you don't have something like Meteorite or Sessa or W, I highly recommend you build Shiryuki. She is very, very strong. She's very helpful in a lot of stages. She'll be helpful in Annihilation too. She'll be helpful in different types of stages. People have used her in high-end contingency contract. And then the caster that you could bring, there are a bunch of different options, and they all do relatively similar DPS. You could bring Gitano, you could bring Lava, you could bring Skyfire, you could even build 12F if you really wanted to. I'm going to bring Gitano. And this is kind of the basis of what your general use team composition is going to look like. You have 2 vanguards, 2 healers, 2 guards, 2 defenders, 2 snipers, and then 2 casters. Now these last 2 slots, Shiryuki and Gitano slots, you could sub them out and use these as flex spots, because you're not always going to need an AoE caster and an AoE sniper. So we could change them around, and this is where things like supporters and specialists will come in handy. So if I wanted to bring specialists, I could bring multiple specialists, I could bring multiple supporters. It's all up to you and your play style and preference. I'm just showing you guys the backbone structure of a team comp anyways, so you don't have to do exactly how I'm doing it. So you could bring like Gravel and Shaw. You could bring Gravel and Shaw and fill these 2 empty slots, and that is a good looking at team comp. You could bring this to any stage. You might want to upgrade these 3 stars at some point to maybe 4 or 5 star counterparts once you get into the much later stages. Like I'm talking like chapter 6, maybe even chapter 5 and higher. But for the most part, you could use these characters throughout the game and do just fine. It might be a little bit difficult though. It will be more difficult rather. Now, of course, you could just fill these in for anything that isn't a direct upgrade, or if you want to have a playstyle change, you can do that. But for the most part, I have this written out basically layout for you, just to kind of put it on paper here. We have 2 vanguards, 1 DP on kill, 1 on skill, 2 defenders, preferably 1 healing defender. You don't need 1 healing defender, but it's definitely more helpful if you have one. 1 to 3 guards. You want to have at least 1 guard that's a 2 block. So in the example that I gave, we have Midnight here, who's a 2 block. And then if you can, you'd want to use 1 guard that can do some sort of arts damage. So it's not just all on your caster. And Midnight, that's why Midnight is a perfect example, because he does arts damage, he hits drones, and he's also 2 block. 1 to 2 casters, single target for sure. You want to have ST is starred, and then you want to have a flex AoE built. Snipers are the same thing. You want to have at least 1 anti-air sniper and then a flex AoE sniper. Now, the reason why I say snipers at least one is because there are some stages where you're going to want to bring at least 2, maybe even 3 anti-air snipers, because there are some stages that have only drones on them, like the skill summary stage and some stages in Chapter 5 as well. So it's going to be really important that you have, and also contingency contracts, drone stage as well. You're going to want to have multiple anti-air snipers built. 2 healers, 1 AoE, 1 single target. And then I'm going to get into these right now. So flex bots, these are characters that you absolutely should build, at least a little bit. Now, a pusher and a puller, you want to get them to skill rank 4. So let's bring in a pusher and a puller. So we have Cliffheart and Shaw. These are 2 free-to-play characters. You get them for just playing the game. You get them for free. Cliffheart is a puller, and I recommend you could E1 her if you wanted to. I recommend it because she gets a range increase once you promote her, and you get access to her second skill, which does true damage, which is pretty nice. But you're going to need a puller for certain stages, and then you're also going to need a pusher. Shaw you get from playing through the storyline. You don't need to build her that much, really. You definitely want, level-wise, but you definitely want to build her to skill rank 4 at least. And the reason why is because of this keyword right here. Pushes a target in a direction with moderate force, moderately. And what pre-skill rank 4, it is much less force than moderately. It's like less force or small force. I forget the key exact word, but you want to get her to moderately so you can cheese Annihilation 1 and 2. And then she'll also be very useful for other tough stages like 3-3 and so on. Now, the third that I have mentioned in the document is going to be a fast redeploy, specifically Gravel. These characters you don't need to bring to E1, but it will help you because you unlock their second skill. Gravel you definitely should bring to E1. Now, Gravel, let's go to her real quick. Gravel is a fast redeploy character. She's a 4-star. You can get her very easily from recruitments by using the specialist or fast redeploy tags at 9 hours. And the reason why you want to bring her to E1 is because you unlock her second skill. Now, what does Gravel do? She is the perfect bait punching bag character. You put her down, she tanks a ridiculous amount of damage with her massive shield that she gets from her skill 2. And she saves you time and can also save your units from very scary threats. She is amazing in endgame, late game content, contingency contract. She was very useful for CC Blade. I highly recommend building her. You don't need to E150 her, but you definitely want to get her second skill so you can leave her E1 level 1 if you so desire. Skill rank 4 would be very nice, but you don't need to push her skill rank super high or her level super high at all to have her work for you. And as you can see right here, that is it for the team comp / team building guide that I have prepared for you guys. I know it might have been a decent amount of information here. I tried to get through as fast as possible, but you know, for the most part, guys, these 10 slots, this is how you're going to want to build your team if you want to be very efficient. Before I end the video, I just want to put in a little bit of a side note here for you guys. I know that some people, they have favorite units. They get really excited about it. They want to build them far beyond any other unit. If you want to be efficient with your gameplay, then I recommend balancing out your team. You know, bring them all to E0 max, getting them skill rank 4 all together. Maybe not 12 units at the same time, but you know, like 6 at a time. You know, do one batch of 6 to E0 max skill rank 4, then build the second one to that group, get the first 6 to E1 30, then the second group, and so on. And eventually, you're going to want to get your units to E150 skill rank 7. That is a really good way to go about it. I usually don't skill rank 7 to E150 unless I plan on E2ing them. But the skill ranks is something you guys should not forget about building. And this way, if you have everyone at like at least E130 or 40, skill rank 4, they're going to be very usable all the way up to some pretty mid-game content for all you newer players out there. If you want to just go above and beyond and build, like, say, you want to build Vinya to, you know, E2, M3, then by all means go for it. But a lot of... I'll just put in perspective right now, guys. It takes a few thousand sanity to M3 a character. Specifically for Vinya, if you wanted to build her from E0 to E2 M3 on her skill 2, it would take you roughly 6,000 sanity. So Vinya is not going to solo carry you through a majority of the campaign. So you won't really get a beneficial payoff from that massively built character. I mean, it's going to take you even more time than that because you won't be running optimal stages for those tier 3, tier 4 materials. I mean, you can definitely spoil or hyper build your waifu. Like, I've done it with my bagpipe, but I only did that after I had a very solid base to work with. You know, I'm not gonna go out and go above and beyond on that one character while the other characters are just not built at all. I feel like that's not very efficient. But besides that, guys, I hope this video was helpful for you all. I hope that you guys learned a thing or two about squad composition. Maybe you will use the squad composition, maybe use a different variation of this squad composition. But if you have any questions, definitely let me know. Ask me in Twitch chat or in the comments below. I'm going to put all the resources in the description. The next couple guide videos are all going to be about in-depth character class guides, just full-on rundowns of each of the classes and archetypes. Good luck on the Blemishine pulls and the event for all of you guys who will be pulling for her. Thank you guys so much for watching, and peace out. Hey,